Did you know that with OpenVR, if you double tap the home button, then you can pull yourself through the air? This takes some getting used to, but it means you can reach spots you might otherwise be unable to, like say you want to peer over a wall, or to get closer to a ceiling texture, or if you want to reach the Citadel. I started my journey. Oh hey, look at that, the cables in Source 2 are still 2D. Beyond the playable area, stuff quickly started to lose its detail. Circular things grew edges, and textures grew blurry. But even this would be a luxury where I was going. Turns out, swinging my arms like this, I would unintentionally float higher and higher into the sky. This quickly revealed that unseen rooftops were invisible. VR needs every bit of optimization it can get, I guess. Soon I was beyond the level's confines, and the ground dropped away to reveal a massive hole beyond. From the way stuff all looked see-through from this angle, I figured that I had already entered the 3D skybox, the world beyond the world. In this strange realm, stuff wasn't quite up to Source 2 quality. It looked more like Half-Life 2 again. I got a bit sidetracked to study somebody's washing. They had a nice little balcony and they managed to get their white so white. It seemed a bit of a shame to head straight to the Citadel, so I stopped by at the Combine Tower on the way. Then, for reference, decided to follow a cable all the way to the Citadel. The cable was about a person wide. Looking at it shooting off towards the Citadel, it didn't look too far. But this proved to be misleading. I perfected my technique as I grabbed my way closer and closer to the Citadel. My plans to reach its base were soon scrapped in favour of reaching its first proper platform for a good view. You may find this menu popping up and disappearing quite annoying. I did too at first, but as my journey progressed, I grew increasingly fond of it, as a point of reference to show how far I was travelling with each arm motion, and as something pretty to look at, as the rest of the world took a budget trip to Polygon City. Eventually I reached a gigantic red platform, and stood on the edge looking back at the pretty bit of City 17. But what now? I decided to climb the Citadel. It was a painfully slow process. I used the various platforms jutting out of the structure to monitor how far I had travelled. I passed rows of weird floating lights, but eventually I reached the next massive platform, only to find that it was moving away from me. I raced it up the tower. It made about the same progress as I did. As I climbed, something strange started to happen. It was as though everything began to turn transparent. The tower, yes, but also my hands and the Steam menu. It was as though everything was fading away into nothing. I eventually reached the top of the cables, but there was little to celebrate, because now I wanted to climb to the top. But how far was that? Would I even know when I got there? I could no longer see City 17. I had gotten lost somewhere inside the Citadel. I changed my motion from climbing to a blend of climbing and rope pulling, and luckily came out in the right place to see it again. By now the Citadel had taken on a bizarre, mist-like form. I could no longer tell where it ended and where the clouds began. I kept noticing a strange, transparent thing next to me, almost as though I was dragging myself into the same bit over and over again. Eventually I realised that this was the menu. It, and my hands, were now fully translucent. I looked up and couldn't see any more platforms. I wasn't sure I was at the top, but since the structure was no longer a structure, I decided to call it a day and to go home. But not before I pissed off the top of the Citadel. You've got to do that. But to my horror, I couldn't teleport back down again. I had gone too far. I went for the menu, but couldn't see anything. I was trapped. Then I remembered I was in VR and took the headset off, ending my journey to the Citadel. What a fun use of my afternoon that had been.